This is the Savage FINcast Retro, the show that still has blood in its nostrils.
Not easy, is it, Raven?
You can't get it out. The blood in the nostrils. I don't mean the intro. I'm Raven Perez.
I'm Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
And we're going to take a look back at Savage Dragon retro issues, like old Savage Dragon issues in these Savage FINcast retros. In addition, we also cover Savage Dragon relevant material, which is what we're going to be focusing on in today's episode. If you were not there for the last episode, we did Wildstar Skyzero issues 1 and 2. And on this episode, we're going to be wrapping up this miniseries with Wildstar Skyzero issues 3 and 4. So, let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Yes, go ahead, Craig.
I was going to say, just for a listener, we're in the time period between the Savage Dragon mini and the ongoing. So this is kind of that area right between. So take it away.
That Megaton Man sweet zone.
Well, there's an ad for Savage Dragon 5 on the back cover, so I think the series has resumed by this point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah, because we are going from 3 and 4.
Yep. But
issue 1 was March. Issue 2 hit. Hold on, I'm figuring it out here real quick. Issue 2 hit in May, and then this one hits in September. So it ain't coming out like clockwork, but it ain't the worst either.
Yeah. So just a quick recap. Wildstar is the story of a guy with a big red starfish on his chest from the future who has accidentally traveled back in time to present day, early 90s, where he's run into a bunch of scientists. One of those scientists has a son named Mikey. And Mikey and Wildstar have found themselves linked together through circumstances. Wildstar is pursued by mercenaries who are also powered by similar symbiotes as his starfish, giving them all unique powers and abilities.
Right.
Apparently, they're after him because reasons. I actually can't remember what their motivations are.
Wildstar wants to destroy the beacon and get end the future that is sort of apocalyptic future. They want to preserve it.
They want to preserve the future. That makes sense.
Yeah,
the beacon will call the aliens.
Because they get power from the symbiotes, so they don't want the symbiotes to go away.
Right, they don't want the symbiotes to go away, but on top of that, like Craig said, the beacon, there's actually, oh boy, this is fucking nuts, but there's 2 warring factions of aliens, and the very first faction of aliens came back in time because of a beacon, and Wildstar is there to stop that beacon so that the war that destroys the world, Skyzero, never happens.
The aliens are the ones that brought the symbiotes with them, because the symbiotes are the kind of weapon tech that the aliens use.
Right.
So
Right. We never see the aliens, which makes it even more confusing, to be honest.
Yep. They're just word balloons.
They are just words.
If you're flashing through there, you'll never know. So you gotta read.
So issue 3 is brought to us by co-creator, writer, inker Al Gordon, co-creator, penciler Jerry Ordway, colorist Reuben Rude, letterer John Workman, editor Bill Bud Shakespeare, and color separator, I pronounced this right last time, Ollie Optics. This issue is published by Image themselves. The Malibu partnership apparently has finally ended. Image is standing on their own, flying on their own.
It only took a few months.
Yep.
I just want to say, this is not relevant to anything, but Ollie Optics has individual credits, and Squeaky Zendel is one of the best names of all time. That's a great name. Squeaky Zendel? Get out of here. That's it. That's all.
Quinn Suplee?
Yeah, I thought I saw that, but I let it go.
Okay.
I mean, Emryotic Mo. I mean, there's some crazy, fucking awesome names going on at Ollie Optics.
Sure these aren't DJs?
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Squeaky Zendel.
Alright, so we last left time, Wildstar had grabbed teenager Mikey, and had flown off into the sky to escape.
You mentioned, Jim, that it was Superman iconic pose. This is a fairly Superman descent. Like the way he's descending, fairly Supermanish.
Apparently, he's not actually flying; he's more jumping with style.
Yep, he clarifies, I can't fly and just jump like hell.
It's not exactly flying, but I guess I have my aerodynamic moments. What does that even fucking mean?
It just means he can jump Hulk style. Real big.
But we get a huge info dump.
Oh, yeah. Skyzero.
Yeah, talking about what the future holds and why he has to stop the beacon.
What's funny is we kind of jumped and gave, we gave this info dump and our info dump at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, this one, it kind of explains the deal with his symbiote, why it's different. Apparently, it's been genetically modified. The symbiotes, apparently, the way they work is they give you power, but they also draw from your emotions. So the angrier you get, or just generally the more emotional you get, the more they draw from you.
Right.
You get stronger as you get more emotional. But his has been engineered to be more powerful, number one, but just as apparently they never figured out how to stop the actual emotion drain. Although it doesn't really come up with him, but it is an issue. That if you like the Hulk, if you let yourself go, you can become more destructive than you may intend.
Right. And you zap all the power out of the symbiote, kind of, and it leaves you kind of vulnerable.
Right. Because it's only so strong. I mean, it does regenerate over time, but you do need to be. It has a limited amount of power.
I love all the close-ups on his face, on Wildstar's face in this issue.
Right.
It reminds you of what the Josh Brolin Cable, from the Blood Deadpool movie. Yeah. What would look if he had paint on, like it would look perfect. You know what I mean? Like he would. With a haircut and everything, it looks like he could fit in as a live action Wildstar. I guess that's what I'm picturing when I see Wildstar's face like that. It just
that works.
Yeah, it's pretty well done. Just the close up, and you really could tell he's an older guy, but he's kind of still a built superhero.
Anybody else kind of feel like the art on this issue is a little bit weaker than previous ones?
I didn't really
places.
Get that, but...
I think that in places, I feel like if you're just drawing again, you can tell when he's having fun.
Yeah.
During all the action stuff, it sings, But the general and the dad just sitting in the plane. I mean, it's just not a fun, thrilling scene to draw. So.
But finally, we meet the man of the hour, Green Power. Savage Dragon. Apparently, he's on his way back to the airport, driving through the desert after helping out. Oh, what did they call him? They called him Death Job.
Yeah, I tried to find out if that was from something.
I don't think Death Job's real.
Yeah. When he talks about the shrew, I just figured maybe it wasn't a crossover or something. I don't know.
No, I think he's just time-stamping it. This takes place before he encounters the shrew, which was early in the ongoing.
Although it is hilarious to hear Dragon call the shrew a new menace.
New menace. Also, yes, he has a mustache, which we should probably talk about the cover really quick, because we didn't talk about the cover really quick. Cover has Dragon and Wildstar fighting each other with, sorry, I forget her name. Jumpstart and Mikey in the background. And yes, we did note last time that in the preview cover, Dragon had no mustache, but it has been added very subtly to the actual cover.
Just slapped on there. Sort of a reverse Henry Cavill. They CG'd it in.
But he definitely has it in the issue, and he just happens to be driving through the desert when, in Hulk fashion, Wildstar gets in a fight with the military, starts smashing tanks, and just so happens to get chucked into Dragon's patrol car that he's riding in the back seat of.
Another one of those hammy moments. I couldn't tangle with another superpowered idiot if he landed in my lap.
And then he landed in his lap.
But the scene where the general and his dad go in, and the guy's just washing dishes and stuff.
Just before that, quick, one thing I did find very interesting was Wildstar recognizes Dragon.
Right, yeah. He's a dragon? Yeah.
Which means it suggests, at least, that that Wildstar probably either fought alongside him or Dragon was a notable celebrity.
He must like him because Wildstar doesn't really make an effort to be an enemy to him,
Right. He spends the whole time, the early fight trying to get Dragon to listen to him, but Dragon's Dragon. He doesn't trust these pajama guys at all.
I do want to say, great opener for me to throw this in. I really think they nailed Dragon's voice.
Yes. Not so much his arms, though.
No.
I bet you Larson had a lot of input. Because they're, like I said, in the last episode we talked about how they shared a studio at one point, so I think they're pretty good friends, and I feel like Eric tends to give a lot of input on how Dragon would talk and stuff.
Yeah, I think not like I can't like 1,000,000% confirm, but he does generally like to sort of give feedback on how he's portrayed. I think wasn't that kind of like his beef with the whole what was that Malcolm crossover, Nancy and Hal? Malcolm, yes. Nancy and Hal just came out and no one really ran anything by him or anything. So yeah, I think he kind of likes to give some feedback. But New Blue, apparently New Blue is hidden in a pretty normal looking house. I think it's funny that Mickey's dad just wasn't putting the pieces together
right
this whole time.
It did seem pretty weird that he wouldn't, because I did.
Yeah,
I guess I'm smarter than Mickey's dad.
Sure, Maurice. Skies are clear blue too. Big question mark. It's like, goddamn, Dad, you're a dumbass. Why are we wasting time? My son could be in
While
big
we're stopping
trouble.
here, did you forget your bag lunch?
Exactly.
What?
Just couldn't get it. His dad just couldn't put it together. I do think this fight in the car is pretty sweet.
Yeah, where the car is shaking back and forth from them rocking inside of it.
I have one major problem with this, and I'll tell you when we get there.
And
lay it on us.
They're just socking each other, and Wildstar gets in a good headbutt.
Yeah, listen up, Long Johns. It's so good, dude. That feels very dragony.
Of course, yes, go ahead.
Going through the roof and busting things up, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
The last scene of this fight,
it's my favorite, though.
Is he really stopping the car with his feet?
He's totally Fred Flintstoning it. That is so cool.
He's got adamantium soles.
It's Dragon. He's super strong. He's just kicking down.
And his boots are super strong.
Well, I can't explain the boots not getting torn off, but he probably should have had the boots burn off because, realism.
Because,
He totally can Fred Flintstone stop the car.
I think in a comic where Mickey's dad doesn't realize he's in a secret lab for the whole time, I think it's okay to say they.
I don't know. That took me out of it. I was like, I'm willing to look the other way on most things. That drew the line for me a little bit.
I thought it was awesome.
I kind of liked it too. I kind of loved the Fred Flintstone.
But then we get a quick scene where Hotwire is Hotwire, who is the hacker guy, who also came from the future, who we haven't mentioned yet. He sneaks in with the military to get to the Blue Sky base, or what's the base called? I forget.
New
Blue base, because apparently there's this whole thing where the data from the site that got transported away got downloaded by the military and put under lock and key. So everyone's trying to get to the data so they can figure out what the deal is with time travel.
Right.
So, something along those lines. And so Hotwire is trying to get there first so he can get the data first. So he's infiltrating as a soldier.
It's funny because Dragon's drawn now kind of like Powerless Dragon was drawn.
Yeah,
at the end of his life.
He's very much the average dragon build.
Yeah, it's just so weird.
Holy spit! You're still
Ordway
awake.
is a great artist, but I think he really dropped the ball on Dragon this issue. It's just he doesn't look great most of it.
Well, but honestly, you look at the mini. Savage Dragon didn't get huge. Savage Dragon was like this size in the mini, kind of. Maybe a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
but he wasn't like roided out, jacked until later on. Like the first mini, he's just kind of like a Wolverine style jacked. So it just looks weird. A, because it's not Eric's art, I feel like, and B, because we're so used to seeing him super jacked.
Right.
Yeah.
Shaped
that's
like a
it.
house.
Well, it's weird to see Wildstar like looking more buff than Dragon, and that's big time what's going on here. There are many panels where Wildstar looks more brutal.
Yeah. Like that one where they're doing the test of strength on page 14, bottom panel.
Right.
That one's a little awkward, where Wildstar looks way bigger.
I can't swear it, but I feel like the mustache might have been added in later in the whole book.
That is possible for sure.
Because there's times when the mustache looks like a real thin Fu Manchu, like up there on page 14. Like, look at the mustache on the middle of page 14 where he's holding Wildstar by the hair and he's about to pound him in the face.
Yeah.
And then look at the mustache on that same page on the last panel. Because he looks different. That's all.
Yeah.
It's a fun scene when Hotwire comes over and gives him a hand, and he's like, nice outfit. And she says, I know. And then zaps him, and then he just shrugs it off and smacks her in the face.
It's the starfish crotch, right?
What else is going on here? Wildstar.
Wow.
What's up?
Sorry, it just took me a minute to connect the dots here. Like, 1 minute he's punching Jumpstart, and the next panel, I guess he's like punching Wildstar into the helicopter or something?
Oh yeah, he turned. Yeah, it's a little. No, wait, no. Wildstar jumped away and smacked the helicopter. So Dragon's just turning around and watching the helicopter explode with Wildstar falling away from it.
Yeah,
it's still cool.
No, that's what I thought too, because he's got like that swinging motion.
Yeah. And then Wildstar. Well, the really awkward one is when Wildstar lands on top of the truck, and then suddenly he's under the truck lifting it.
Yeah. I kind of wonder. Like, it's funny. It's weird because I mean, I hate to. This sounds critical, but dear listener, please know that like I'm just picking nits. Like, this is stuff like it didn't hurt my enjoyment of the series at all. But like, it's hard to also like when you read a Savage Dragon comic, like Savage Dragon's put together real tight. Like these kind of like almost they feel like movie editing mistakes. Mm-hmm. These kind of things don't really happen in Dragon. So when I'm reading a comic like this, it's still like action packed and kind of like it's like you said, like 1 minute he's on top of the vehicle, then the next minute he's under it lifting it. It just stands out, like really like stands out like crazy. That's all.
And at this point, Jumpstart seems to have switched sides and begins helping Wildstar like directly, blocking laser blasts and otherwise just kind of helping him out.
Yeah, which she's been doing for years apparently. So apparently she was double agenting it, kind of.
Oh yeah. She says he's dense. Makes sense. Oh yeah, and then Dragon throws a Jeep at a helicopter.
He throws the tire of the Jeep. So he picks up the Jeep, rips the tire off, and throws it. It's really. It took me a while to figure it out because I'm like, is that the Jeep? What is?
Oh, I see.
And then you look at the panel. He's picking it up. He's ripping the front tire off.
He's just knocking the guns out now that I see it. Yeah, he's throwing the tire to knock the guns out.
Because at first I was like, why the hell would he throw a whole Jeep at like a good guy helicopter?
Well, the good guy helicopter is shooting at him.
Yeah, but he's still a cop. I don't know.
Well, he does at least say something doesn't feel right about all this. Although I think it's far like you want to talk about suspension of disbelief. It is far harder to believe that Mickey scales a tank and kicks a tank operator in the face.
But don't you see? It isn't engineered for close proximity.
I suppose.
The sound effect kick.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this whole sequence, like honestly, like Mickey getting in there, and then the guy's like, "Oh no, we jammed the bumper
Oops,
relay.
I pushed the blow up button."
It's gonna blow!" Like this whole thing, I was like,
$1 million tank.
There's just a big red button, self-destruct.
Yeah. Oh, we overheated. This is very dangerous.
So it was kind of like, I was like, what? Like, as I read that, I was like, huh.
Critical overload. Critical overload.
Get out of tank. Get out of tank.
Hurry, we have 25 seconds.
Mickey gets hulked, basically. He shoves the tank operator out of harm's way and then gets caught in the blast when the tank explodes. And this apparently paralyzes him. Damages his
and
spine.
ages him.
Ages him?
I don't know.
He's a
The
lot
one
buffer.
page. The one page is just like turns into a mutant.
Well, he was just in an explosion.
He definitely looks a lot like older than a kid, for sure. He's more cut up, more rough. Just like, goddamn, Mickey, why are you so buff?
Wildstar gets punched in the face, like a gallon of blood pours out of his face. Mickey gets blown up by a tank. There's a little bit of blood splatter.
Just a little bit.
He's okay.
Mostly on his back.
I will say kudos to on on page 21, last panel. Kudos to that premium dick bulge.
Yeah.
Like, they're not holding back, dude. Like, just saying. Anatomically on point.
I really like the panel on page 20 where Wildstar is punching Dragon.
Kudos to the dick bulge.
Premium dick bulge. No, that is a great panel where he's clocking Dragon.
Yeah, he's like panicking because Mickey got hurt, and he just like offhandedly just slugs Dragon so hard.
I'm kind of weird by the dick bulge still.
I try not to look
like,
at it.
It's just beans. Where's the pork?
No Frank. How you gonna get the Frank above the beans, or how you get the
call
beans
that
above
pork,
the Frank?
The Frank.
How you gonna get the Frank below the beans?
What's going on there?
I will say that it makes sense for a skin tight symbiote, like a
Right.
It's all mashed up in there, curled up.
Just it's on there, dude. But then he does his Super Sentai Blast to like,
which is a
repel
cool
anytime.
panel. That panel is awesome.
Yeah. Kaboom! And like dragons flying, the tanks all like. What's beautiful? See, that's the thing, Jim. I'm with you when you're like, did the art kind of suffer? But like, there's a lot of wonk in this, but also too, there's beauty. Like, look at the tank tread coming off of the wheels.
This panel is really nice.
It's good stuff, dude. The dick bulge on page 21. Super sweaty, like super bloody, like Wildstar, like after he did his thing.
I didn't really see this coming. I don't know. Maybe I was just naive. I didn't remember, but I remembered. I'm saying when I first read this, I didn't see him dying and transferring the star over. I don't know why.
And this
It
is why I
seems
said
super obvious.
Wait, you mean you like missed that it happened?
No, I didn't see that coming. Like, it feels like it should be super obvious.
Right.
But,
well, this is why I said I feel like I read up to issue 3 at least, because as I started to read this, I remembered. I was like, oh yeah, he fucking rips the star off and gives it to Mickey.
I think what a really cool detail of this is like the reversal of the hair. So old Wildstar is white, and he's got a couple of dark strands. And then when Mickey gets the star, his hair, a couple of strands of hair turns white. So it's like a negative,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I hadn't
cool.
actually noticed that. That is cool.
Also, Craig, you said that you getting some Josh Brolin cable on page 22. Like when he very first, from when I was you, like that panel, big time Brolin, dude.
It's true, kid. You grow up to be Josh Brolin.
Mm-hmm. From when I was you, big reveal.
You don't look
The face
anything
when he's
like me,
dead
old
is funny.
man.
you say the face when he's dead's funny?
Yeah.
It's the tongue hanging
kinda
out, right?
sticking out. I've lived a good life.
Holy freaking spit!
Wait, one more thing.
The gold is buried in...
The way to defeat the aliens is to...
The Rappelthar hate.
So yes, the star has been transferred to Mickey. And
I've had enough.
I've had enough of this bit, guys. We're moving on.
Are you saying this bit is dead?
This bit is...
Turning to dust.
Yeah, you're right. The tongue out is funny. Yeah, he turns into dust. I love that death sequence. I mean,
Death
that is
is
cool.
not dignified. Remember that.
It's cool though. I mean, visual, like the visual. Is that still a death rattle?
What?
Dude, you still death rattling?
Turning to dust.
No, but that 4-panel sequence.
What?
Never mind.
The 4-panel sequence at the top of page 25 is fantastic. Like, I love that panel of him turning into like a skeleton.
You get the
like,
sense that like he's been dead for a while, and this is like time catching up
yeah,
because he dissolves so quickly.
yeah, because the other guys didn't happen to them.
Well, it isn't shown, so I'm not sure.
Oh, well, you're right. You're right. But also, too, you can see, like, I just want to throw it in there real quick, like, why those guys would want to fight to keep the symbiotes around. Because, like, if they fucking are, like, cheating death and living for, like, super long, like, I hate to jump ahead because I'm kind of getting it mixed up in my head. But doesn't at one point Mickey said thousands of years or some shit like that?
That's going to come up next issue, but
Okay,
no, that is where Skylark is from. That isn't when they're from.
Oh, so they haven't lived thousands of years?
Yeah, we'll get to that because that's actually very interesting. There's a detail to that I don't think either of you know.
All right,
that I'll
save
explain.
it. Okay, I'll save it for when we get there. Mickey and Jumpstart go down the hatch.
Yeah,
what is this conveniently placed hatch?
This is just future knowledge, you see. Future Wildfire knew that there was a hatch here from the future. He knew that, and so he's using it as their escape route in the present.
So instead of escaping down it to begin with, they fought these tanks and...
I think the tank, for whatever reason, the tank exploding uncovered it because it was in a crater.
Gotcha.
I do like that Death Star bumps his wrist. Like, you know how Wildstar sort of like does the Sentai wrist pose?
Yeah.
Like Death Star sort of like fist smashes his wrist to shoot his...
Are you calling him Death Star like Star Wars?
Is his name not Death Star?
It's Dead Star. Easy mistake to make.
Damn it.
See, I read it more as he's been having trouble getting it up, so he's just slapping it till it goes.
Wait, what?
Meat slapping meat. Holy freaking spit.
Gazap.
No, dude, that's great. That Gazap panel is fantastic.
Son of a, you're still alive? What the? Holy spit! How the hell you get that freaking star?
No, you didn't emphasize the U. That's a big U. How the hell did you get that freaking star? The lettering's good. I'm just saying, like, did something like what? Like, good stuff. And I like when he touches the star, like, fucking, it just oozes all over his body, the membrane. It's so cool.
And that sure is a shock transformation pose.
To be concluded.
Yep. To be. Quick, what we got for ads? We got more Wildstar t-shirts, bunch of letters pages. Oh yes, Grant Morrison and what's his name? Steve Capullo, Greg Capullo, doing Spawn. Is this Greg Capullo's like first Spawn gig?
I think so.
That's awesome.
Grant Morrison never sued McFarlane, did he?
No, you're thinking of Neil Gaiman.
I like there's a little star Todd will temporarily be leaving Spawn for 3 issues to do the Spawn Batman crossover.
Sure.
And they never heard from him again.
Sure. That's like I got over it big time. Like, I don't give a fuck now. But young me had hard feelings for that very reason. Because they kind of acted like, oh no, I'll be on. Like, you could say, it's so funny. Like, they can say now that his whole thing was to always just have a big creative team, or
right?
Whatever. But man, I swear to you, I remember in those early issues of Spawn, it's like, and I'll never leave Spawn, and I'll always be with it.
I'll always be there for you, kid. And then he just fades away as the thumbs up fades away.
I'll always be cashing those checks.
Look at this image info. It looks like Super Patriot #1 comes out the same time as Wildstar #3.
Yep. What else we got here? We got the Max #5.
Mm-hmm.
Trencher 4.
Wildcats Trilogy.
Oh, weird. Huh. Nothing really exciting here.
Shit happens. It's fine.
So and big ad in the back for Eric Larson writes Savage Dragon #5. I assume he also draws. I'm not sure why it just says writes.
Dude, Spawn was already on #14 by the time of Savage Dragon.
Yep, that is true.
Remember though, there was that whole honeymoon. He did the miniseries. He took his honeymoon and then he came back.
Yeah, but the back cover has Eric Larson writes Savage Dragon #5. So maybe they skipped a month because it's not in this image info.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I haven't seen Savage Dragon in the image info yet. Now, granted, there's only been 2.
Stranko.
All right, let's conclude this. Let's get this.
Let's bring it home.
Take it out. This is going to take a minute because there's a whole thing here I got to explain.
Goddamn, I would love some explanation.
Wildstar #4.
So, yeah, same creative team. No one's changed.
A brisk few months, or 1 or 2 months later.
Is it?
Cover's got...
Yep, September, November.
Oh, you mean publication date. Yes, this came out in November.
Yeah. September, October, November. Came out just a few mere months later.
Covers just got a Wildstar.
Skylark.
Yeah, it is imposed over top of Skylark. Pretty cool cover.
Yeah, Cosmic Shadows, always an awesome design choice.
And the story picks up right where we left off, where they're in the tunnel, doing what Wildstar does, getting his face pummeled, and feeling tired. Too old for this shit.
Holy spit, he's tough.
Oh, and I guess for some reason I had thought, was it Mazer or Taser? When he got his head frozen, I thought that killed him, but he's here. So I guess
he's fine.
He's fine. He got better.
Just getting your head froze. It ain't no big.
But there's this whole bit where Trans switches places with his own ally. And so instead of Wildstar,
You're right the first time.
hitting Trans, he winds up slamming into the other guy.
The Dreadnought.
Taser. Then there's a little bit more Dragon post stuff, where basically Dragon drags himself out of the explosion, says, what the hell's been going on? I could, quote-unquote, help out. And the villager says, get lost, guy. We don't need you here.
Yeah, which is hilarious dismissal. Like, you're not going to be of any help.
Yeah, it's not that he wouldn't be any help, is that he would be a witness to. He doesn't have a security clearance to. It's above his security clearance.
So funny that they care. Like, at this point, they're dealing with superpowers.
Yeah.
Like, they should want the help, but whatever.
Yeah, it's always been kind of a thing with Dragon, is that he's too nosy for his own good, and people don't appreciate it sometimes when you get involved. That's why he's a cop, not a superhero.
But they dismiss him. Isn't this all he's in this issue?
I'm pretty sure, yes, that is it.
Yeah, and we're done, FINcast listeners. No, I'm kidding. Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening. And Dragon's out.
Then we get introduced to that half cyborg thing that we saw at the beginning of issue number 2. Apparently, it's
Zombie Hulk
in a tank in the blue base.
The new blue.
And some other stuff happens.
I do like in the scene how you see that, like, there's the helicopter lands on the little circular area, and then the next panel, like you can see how the helicopter.
Oh,
like,
it's dropping. It's like a yeah, it's dropping down. That is pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't even noticed that. Yeah, so the base is below this farmhouse.
The New Blue, it gets infiltrated by Hotwire, who comes in on the helichopter.
Yeah, basically he just kind of he hacks his way through some security doors.
It just feels like he can talk to computers in a way.
Why does the computer say well?
Because he has, you'll see later in this issue, like the computer kind of like, he can sort of like have computers emotionally respond to him.
Yeah. And
so he's just sort of like, he doesn't have the password, but it's like, well, and then just lets him in.
Gotcha.
Weird. I mean, I know it's a weird thing, and it's not real clear. Like when I very first read that, I was like, what the? But then later on in the issue, like you see him having more, like they expand on that.
Yeah, there's definitely more of it when he gets to the actual computer terminal.
I think that they do a great job. I guess it's probably specifically Jerry Ordway, and I'm sure the inking helps, but they do a really good job defining the young Wildstar versus old, like the looks. Like, I mean, it's the same character, same suit. It's got to be difficult to convey that difference between young and old, and I think they do it pretty well.
Yeah, agreed.
It's like easy to tell.
He's almost got like a mohawk. Like the hair seems like it goes all the way back on his head.
It's weird to me. It reads as like a zebra's mane.
Kind of.
Which I think is ingenious that they did flip the colors with like the dark hair with the white streak. I think that helps a lot too.
Yep. Now that you mentioned it, it's way more obvious.
And then they make it even more obvious in like the future and Savage Dragon issues where they reverse the colors of the costume eventually. But
is that what they did? Okay.
Yeah.
That explains a lot, actually, because I always thought he looked a little weird in this series because I'm mostly familiar with him in Dragon, where he's got the reverse color scheme.
Yeah, he's got like the white nose and mouth
right.
and the black eyes, but I kind of like this scheme better.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Like, the black, like, on his nose and mouth is awesome. Like, yeah. I'm 100%.
It's a pretty funny scene where he gets his arms frozen, and Jumpstart is trying to convince him to, like, expand his chest to break out. So she winds up kicking him in the head to get him angry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's teamwork. Hulk, very Hulk. That explanation.
There's a lot of Hulk in this with the military and fighting the tanks and the
madder you get, the stronger you get.
There's that for certain. Yep.
It's a pissed off general, like bad guy general.
Yep. Thunderbolt Ross in it. So we get some more fights. Poom poom whammo thump. Oh, thump tuh. Thump tuh.
Thumped.
What's the deal with the disappearing
okay, so I figured this out.
The pixie dust moment, you mean?
Yeah, this is weird.
That's the time travel.
It's the time travel device.
Is it also the beacon?
No, they talk about that later.
Okay.
It's not the beacon. It is the time travel device. I don't know exactly who mailed it to him. I thought it was supposed to be Doug, but it can't be Doug because Doug got transported to the future. When the locations got flipped.
Okay.
But it is a time travel device, and the reason why it disappears is because it's not real, or at least it's not functional. It was a trick.
Well, they do explain in the end of the series that time travel wasn't coming from the device at all. So, okay, if you're going to explain this, we just got to pop the load on the end of the story. Like, so they explain that the device, like time travel, was never accomplished via the device.
Right. It's got the circuitry is all junk. It's just
right. It's trash.
It's just a prop.
Right. And the whole time they're talking, they're like, "Oh, none of this makes sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, none of this time machine makes sense." And that's why it doesn't make sense, because it's worthless. It's not real. That's not how they time traveled. But I don't get the device still, Jim. I don't get it.
Why did it disappear?
Yeah, what the fuck?
It was probably Skylar, because she probably created it, and then when it didn't have a purpose anymore, she made it go away. Or maybe time travel, timey-wimey stuff happened and it just no longer exists. I don't know.
And it also messes me up that it is clearly in that panel labeled Beacon.
Is it?
And so
it is.
Yeah,
Well,
and so
again, Skylark is the beacon. So it's whatever it is, whatever this device is, it's part of Skylark. She created it.
Okay. This issue lost me.
Big time.
I won't disagree.
Skylark came in.
There's
I'm
a
like,
lot
really?
of info dump. Well, we'll get to her when we get to her because I got a story to tell you guys, and it's complicated.
All right.
Let me just say this isn't her first appearance.
Okay. Well, let's trek on past the pixie dust package and try to get to there naturally, I guess.
Yep. We got a pretty cool
I
continued
need
fight
this scene
scene.
explained to me. There's a scene coming up. I also need some help.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. But real quick before we get to that, we do get more of the computer stuff with Hotwire, where he basically talks the computer into unlocking itself for him.
Yeah, which is cool because, like I said, it makes the previous well make more sense. I mean, he's like, pretty please, and it's like, okay. So, cool. Like, that's awesome. So, I was like, okay, that is a cool power that he can sort of just, coerce machines. That's neat. And Zombie Hulk is knocked out of the tank, and he's about to fucking come to life here. And, but wait, here's what I don't understand. Where the fuck did this guy come from?
Which guy?
That's what I'm saying.
What, the Hulk guy?
And I mean, they tell you, they're like, oh, the goo is reorganizing itself and coming to life. Like,
okay. So
the goo that he was in.
But the goo that the Hulk guy was in becomes that other alien?
Nope. What we're not understanding, what we're not getting, is that there's two different creatures. There's the
in
one
the same
there's
tank?
the one no. There was only one creature in the tank who got knocked out of the tank. The other creature is one of the symbiotes that has gotten ripped off and has mutated itself into a more humanoid-esque monster creature.
Ripped off what?
I believe it was ripped. Hold on. It's Blockade. I don't know which one of these guys is Blockade. I think it's the green guy with the green armor.
But see, he says that pile of gunk where the green guy landed, it's moving. It looks like it's reorganizing.
Right, and that's what confused me because it makes it sound like the gunk was on the floor when he got knocked out of the tube.
That's okay. If you go back, Blockade's the guy who is holding Wildstar and got punched in the head. So that guy and then got kicked. I'm pretty sure that's Blockade. So
right.
the green goo is what got knocked out of him when he got crashed through the wall. If you look on page 9.
Oh shit, you're right.
See
Blockade
how
was in the armor. Okay, and as they fight,
see when he gets knocked through the wall on page 9, he's naked.
Oh, geez, Louise, fuck yeah, you're right. Okay,
right.
Okay.
So
that green shit he's wearing looks just like kind of like the alien, so that does make sense.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
So the alien is
that is very hard.
Basically, they've switched places. So the alien is now the dominant, and he's got Blockade in his butt, in his ball sack. Yes. So now there are two monsters.
So that is cool. Let me just say that, first of all, now that I understand, that's awesome. That is an awesome twist, but I am also going to maintain that was hard as fuck to follow.
Yeah, that was not the best laid out.
I think it's mostly because like the armor becomes like 3 times as big.
Right.
Well, also
which is a little weird.
It doesn't hurt in this sequence that I'm trying to defend my bad understanding. It doesn't hurt that we don't really see Blockade without his mask,
right?
Except for one panel where he's getting blasted by, into Wildstar's getting blasted into Blockade, and also too, I guess I don't really quite comprehend how. At what point does Blockade's whole fucking symbiote come off between page 7 and he's coming through the wall page naked in page 9?
Right.
Well, the other thing that's super confusing is that giant, whatever zombie guy is green as well.
Right,
so
right.
That really confuses the situation. It makes sense now. I just think it's missing a couple of panels showing maybe the symbiote coming off his body and reforming or something.
Bingo.
maybe the words kind of messed that action, the splurg, whatever.
Well, I'm going to tell you right here what fucked me up more than anything. You see the big green dude laying in purple liquid, which obviously came out of the container, but then the dad says that liquid that the green guy landed in, it's moving, or no, the pile of gunk that the green guy landed. I was like, is he referring to the purple liquid? Like, because there's not. Look at this picture of the fucking green, like the green zombie Hulk.
Right.
At no point does he appear to be laying on a pile of gunk.
Well, because he's not. He's referring to a separate pile of gunk where Blockade landed.
Right, the pile of gunk where the green guy landed.
Right. I think, they're both green. I'm pretty sure, and I guess Blockade wouldn't be green when he landed? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know, Raven.
Yeah, go back.
We should have asked Ordway while we read Terrificon.
Go back to page 9 and look at Blockade. He's mostly naked.
Right,
and again, that's what fucks with me, because on page 7, he's not mostly naked.
Right.
On page 9, he's mostly naked. At some point in those 2 pages, I can buy that his symbiote came off or whatever, but you don't see it. There's not a pile of gunk on that panel on page 9. There's no pile of gunk.
Right.
You don't see anything.
It's definitely his symbiote, though. It's just...
Yeah, I follow it.
I think, that it's so big.
Yeah.
After it comes off, doesn't seem to make sense. That it's green and matches the zombie thing, and that just there's no real panel showing a transition. It looks like it just comes out of nowhere.
The zombie's never really given an explanation anyway. He's just there. He's apparently some bioweapon they've been working on.
They kind of explained that in a way. They said that their experiments weren't successful.
Yeah.
And so you could assume that this was just an unsuccessful experiment.
Dude, you want to know the funny thing is that this giant alien symbiote thing, it plays a major role in the next,
of course it does,
Wildstar series.
Which one? Blockades?
No.
Yeah. No, Blockades. The one with the rib cage thing.
Are you fucking kidding me? Really?
It's in like a whole issue.
Major
of, like, the
recurring.
Wildstar issues.
Wow, dude. Wow.
And I hate that design, but whatever.
You hate its... I love its design with its big-ass bubble ass.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking awesome, dude.
It's weird.
I think it's so cool.
It looks very 90s-ish.
Yeah, actually...
It looks like a Jim Valentino type villain for me.
I loved it. I also, even though that is some fucking, like, far-fetched dialogue... it still made me laugh, and that's when I said the cheesy dialogue just sort of came on. Like, I was like, okay, I can accept what Wildstar has to offer. When he Wildstar tricks the zombie Hulk into punching the ball sack off of fucking the other symbiote, and then it does he's like, well, that's what you get for when let what's between your legs do the thinking for you. I was like, you know what? Okay. That is forced as hell, but I am with it. I am with it, dude. They kept calling that dude. You know what? They kept calling that guy Spud and Spudwad so much that I forgot his real name. Dreadstar?
Deadstar.
Deadstar? God damn it. Like, if you called him Spud, I'd have known exactly who you were talking about. Yikes. But it's good. I love that. I love Blockade's symbiote's death scene. Like, just the guts flying everywhere.
Yeah. It's definitely cool. Like, cool action scenes.
Yeah, it's on point. And
Spalorch.
when Jumpstart grabs the electricity panel, makes her heroinic sacrifice. I like the way that's colored,
Yeah.
Like the whole panel yellow and the color hold like blue lines coming off of it.
Yep.
Sweet. So then Jumpstart shocks the shit out of all of her fellow comrades, using the liquid they were in. And then, like, we see Hotwire using his computer hacking power to sort of call in some big guns and tell them, hey, look, dude, New Blue's compromised. Get cracking.
He's using Skype in 1994.
Wasn't that one of those moments where it was like kind of like, oh, I'll have your... They had some kind of techno thing in this moment that was kind of funny. But at any rate, moving right along.
Where were we?
See, what's great is you see Mickey using the same ball smash move that old Wildstar used.
Well, it's a tried and true.
It's great. Love it. And then he goes to jump on the zombie Hulk, which kind of like lures him into the machine. Delivers the Sentai coup de grace to the zombie Hulk before he himself gets wimped the fuck out from using his power.
And then Skylark comes and mind fucks everybody.
Yeah, Jim, you want to, like, all of a sudden, it goes off the rails hardcore here.
Well,
Yeah.
all right, so Skylark.
Crash landing.
So Skylark mentions that she is basically she says she's from a future, but she's from 1,000 years in the future. And that she is a what does she say exactly? What are the words?
The step between man and God.
Okay, so when she says a step between man and God, what she actually is saying is that she is a step between man and new God. So, there's a series that started in 1989 called Legion of Superheroes. In 1989, they relaunched Legion of Superheroes. It's known, popularly known as the 5 years later period, where the Legion of Superheroes, a team of superheroes in the DC universe, they've been around since the 50s. But in 1989, they decided that they were going to do a kind of a weird semi-reboot, where they were going to time jump 5 years in the future. Everyone was going to be older, and things were going to be darker and suck in a post-Watchmen sort of comic way.
Yeah, it makes sense for the time that it was published.
So there was a story arc. One of the key things you need to know, Al Gordon was the primary inker on the series, and he was also co-plotter for a bunch of storylines.
Okay.
So one of the storylines involved Darkseid. It's called the Quiet Darkness Saga. It runs 4 issues. There's a character called Aria Campbell.
Pylark.
Well, sort of. The long and short of it is, she was there was a whole Darkseid had this really convoluted scheme where he wanted to commit suicide, but he wanted to die to a being more powerful than he. So,
brother,
he manages to turn this woman into a being called Gemini, and she kills Darkseid, and then there's this whole stuff that happens. The thing is, this period of Legion of Superheroes was not super popular at the time. It eventually kind of got retconned, and in 1994, the entire history that DC got rebooted in the 0 Hour. Okay. So basically, she got eliminated during 0 Hour. Al Gordon.
Is this her?
This is her. Al Gordon likes this character enough that he decides he's going to rescue her. So basically, she has come 1,000 years from the future, the period of time where the Legion of Superheroes is from, because they are always from 1,000 years in the future. And now she is in Wildstar as a main character.
Holy shit!
Yes. So he has kidnapped a DC character from DC Comics, and now she's a creator-owned character named Skylark.
It's kind of like what they did with Howard the Duck.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a while. Yes.
So in the second miniseries for Wildstar, they have collector cards.
Yes.
And they give you a little kind of bit of character info on each card on the back cover. Like, they make it so you can cut out the cards. There's 9 cards, but for Skylarks, let me read you what they said.
Okay.
We don't fucking know. That's what it says.
It says, Skylark was the experimental subject of her father's most ambitious dream. She is the end result of a mythological alchemic procedure performed 1,000 years from now by an obsessively curious and gifted scientist on his prepubescent daughter.
Yep.
Legend explains the procedure as an ancient process for advancing the species, only understood by an ageless, long-absent race of meta-alchemists. As a result, she has become the legendary Metaform, a seamless entity considered by the far futuristic cognoscenti. Is that a real word?
Cognizance.
cognoscenti as the eloquent, innocent interface between corporeal life and non-corporeal life, the step between man and God. Man, that is a whole bunch of bullshit right there.
Just plug in words like new God and dark side where they seem applicable. It makes more sense.
Whew, that is the hardest thing I've ever read.
I got to tell you something.
So that is one of the quote unquote origins of this character.
Okay. Yikes.
Not fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, what's crazy is that apparently if Wildstar continued, there was another character he was going to rescue as well, who also doesn't really exist past.
Why do you say that?
Oh, I think he's mentioned it before. Is that he was going to?
Oh, really?
Yeah, bail him out.
I found her character unnecessary.
Oh,
and it
yeah.
just took
Well,
the fun
I
out.
don't think
like
I don't think she's unnecessary because here's what this story's about. This story's about breaking cycles.
Right.
Why the way this is supposed to go is that Wildstar goes back in time. They get into fights. He dies. He passes his star onto himself, and then then Doomsday happens. The Skyzero happens, and the sequence repeats.
John Connor style.
Yes. Only more like exactly, John Connor style. Skylark, who has, because she's between man and God, wants to break this cycle. So her entire role in this series is to be the catalyst to break that cycle. So that's her role. If she's not here, there's nothing to break the cycle. There's no outside force to
She also says she kind of started it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
For me,
It's
she's
just-
when this shit went off the rails. Like, I was actually into all of it, and when she showed up, I was just like, ew, yikes. So it wasn't time travel via a machine. It was her magical doings. And she also kind of is responsible for it, but she also kind of stopped it.
She just kind of comes in and is like, whoopsie.
Yeah.
And then they're like, huh, what? And then Wildstar doesn't even like it. And he's like, this is bullshit. I'm out of here.
Exactly.
And that's exactly how I felt as a reader. I was like, we went through all this for this?
Yeah.
Like, this is just some cockamamie bullshit.
Yeah. That's how I feel. I very much, if a story's to make you feel like you can relate to the lead, I very much related to the lead. I was like, oh boy, yeah, I would just want to fucking leave. I want to fly off.
Nah, you guys just don't like time travel plots like I do.
No, I really
I
don't.
love time travel.
Unfortunately.
I love time travel. You can't say that. I love time travel.
I don't know.
But you know what?
I won't disagree that she probably could have been put into this series more in a way that isn't where you drop in. She's basically a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally. Machine of God, literally.
Yep. So maybe she could have been more more integral to the plot instead of being dropped in at the last minute.
The last 5 pages are just complete exposition of blah, 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 blah.
And that was another one of those things where it was like, oh, brother, you sure did tell and not show.
Yeah.
Like if we had seen, instead of having them stand around in the desert and having her explain stuff, like show some stuff.
Sprinkle it in through the series.
Yeah, show stuff. And like even like going back over it a second time with you guys just now to have extra brains and extra comprehension and 20/20 hindsight and all those advantages, it still doesn't feel like she was foreshadowed much, hardly at all.
I mean, she was in issue 1, I think in issue 2.
She was in issue 1 for sure. She shows up and like she initiates the time warp.
Right.
So again, it kind of makes sense when she shows up. He's like, "Well, I'm activating the device," and then they time travel. Well, you can figure out. She says, "You didn't time travel because of a device. You time traveled because of me." And so I think you're right, Jim. Like the device turning into pixie dust is because it was bullshit and made up.
Right.
And so that helps the device make more sense to me as just like, it's just some shit she made up. But she also then says that her fucking appearance made the fucking aliens come?
Oh, right, because she time traveled. She initially time traveled and decided she was going to help people by healing them. And apparently her
sent shockwaves.
Yeah, basically her actions by doing that got the attention of the aliens, which caused the...
So she's the beacon.
She's the beacon. Her activity was the beacon activity. And
right,
caused the time,
aliens,
and it caused the aliens, which caused the time loop situation. Which, of course, if she's the one causing the time travel, she must have been causing the time loops. So that's weird.
Yeah.
You know, there's I got a little bit of a pet peeve here, and I can't handle it. Parentheses and word bubbles. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Stop.
Oh,
that.
you see,
Stop.
I like parentheses and word bubbles. Oh, wait, parentheses, or do you mean
Not parentheses.
quotes?
Yeah. Quote. No, parentheses.
Oh, see,
Parentheses,
I like parentheses because I use parentheses when I talk. It's called an aside. You're saying it to nobody. You don't do that all the time? I do that all the time. Like,
But there's
right,
there's a better way to do that in comics.
To express it at least. I don't know, like smaller words or something.
Smaller
on another
words.
Bubble.
Yeah, smaller words in a smaller bubble can come off as a verbal aside. Like at one point when he's like, how, in parentheses, I'm like, if you just had put that how in like a smaller, like a whispered,
Well, like look at page 24. Like, look at Wildstar's bubble on the last panel.
Yep.
Like, to me, that's obvious he's kind of saying that under his breath.
Yeah, I got to be dreaming all small. Yeah. And that's an aside. But again, there's like, I guess that's because I'm already there on that same page, 24. It's like, why was that parentheses necessary?
Or even
I
just
like
above
I
that.
like parentheses and word bubbles.
I guess that's what, yeah. And then this has happened once before when I messed up Dad's VCR. Wait, you're 1,000 years from the future.
Yeah.
VCR? What are you talking about?
Agreed.
And why do you need that in there? You've already got 5 million words on this
to be
page.
fair,
Do we
it was
really
a little
need
bit of
that?
a retro future.
Yeah, she says groovy for sure. Like something is up with her like character.
Well,
because she's like, I just came back to this time for zone.
20th century was pretty groovy, guys.
I think she was saying it on purpose because she liked.
Yeah, she's retro.
That aesthetic.
She's way into it. Bell bottoms.
Anyway, I don't want to end with shitting on this series.
No,
because it
it's
was
still
fun
strong.
and I enjoyed it, and the art was awesome. I
Yeah.
just think it fizzled for me at the end. Like it just
And it was Skylark's
didn't
fault.
Stick the landing.
Oh, beans.
And you know what's really crazy about how this series ends? It seems to end that the time loop happened again. Because it ends with him in the ruins.
But the reason why that happened, the reason why he was in the time loop, wait a minute, fuck.
It says,
Can't worry
tomorrow,
about-
so exhausted, 25 years, and sometimes I
it's him.
still can't. Yeah. Never gonna go on so long without a rest. Can't return.
Wait, that's not young Mikey. Hold on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How does this last page? Now you've mind fucked me. How's this last page? I just thought that was an indicator that. Oh boy.
See how it
No
says
way.
tomorrow and he has gray hair again?
Oh, you ruined me. I thought I understood this, and now I don't understand this. Wait, what?
It's the same moment as the beginning of the series. Issue number 1, panel 1.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be because the time loop should be broken.
But
by
that's
young
that's my
Mickey.
question. I thought the time loop was broken, but according to this last page, it is not broken.
Oh boy.
Maybe it's because he flew away. Maybe he wasn't supposed to do that.
I'm going to be positive and say I enjoyed my time with this, even though I did not enjoy my time with Skylark.
I enjoyed my time with this. I especially enjoyed Skylark because of how bullshit she is.
I do like that story, that backstory you gave us. I actually am a fan of that secret history, the rescuing of a character.
Yeah.
I actually do like that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool when creators sort of find little ways to narratively snake away things from corporations. I just don't like her role in this story.
Yeah. And she's one of the characters you see with Wildstar all the time in Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we
all
ever...
those
Do we see Jumpstart again?
No, we see Skylark and Wildstar and Hotwire,
Right.
or whatever.
I want to know what happened to Jumpstart, because I don't know. At the end here, it seems like she's still around, so it's weird that she never shows up again. I guess in that sequel series, something that must happen.
Have you guys have seen the cover, the variant cover to Savage Dragon 77, right?
No, but I can
yes.
see it now.
The one where he's ripping through the cover?
Sad.
No. The variant to 77 is Wildstar versus Dragon by Ordway and Gordon,
I see it now. Yep.
which is really cool.
Yep.
But it's kind of a callback to like their issue 2 or 3. Was it issue 3? I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool.
Dragon's,
right, the
Dragon's a
reverse
little
colors are
beefier
switched
this time.
Yeah, he got it right.
It looks awesome.
He got
Fin and everything. It looks great. That's an awesome cover.
Yeah, that's
He's-
fantastic.
They're great artists. They really are.
Yeah, I want to end positive. I do love Wildstar. I think he's a fucking awesome character. And I did actually super love and enjoy. I enjoyed this miniseries big time. And
I'm glad
the
I read
art.
it. I've been sitting on it for years. I never read it.
I read it. Glad I finished it. Apparently, I made it to issue 3 and never made it to issue 4.
And there's more Wildstar. There was a 3-issue miniseries?
Dragons in that one too?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's another 3-issue miniseries. Mighty Man guest stars in that.
Well, I guess that
Sweet.
means we're going to have to cover that when it comes along.
Sweet. I'm into it.
Yeah, I think we should anyway because he's so tied in with dragon lore,
Right?
And plus Mighty Man's in it. But that last page of this series, it makes sense. I mean, he's going into kind of a different future now, but you look at every time he's appeared in Dragon, he's like in the Savage world, or he's like here during the the Kerr type part, and there's always like an apocalyptic kind of world's end type thing,
Yeah.
and he's trying to fix it.
It's my memory that every time Wildstar seems to show up, he's like seeing a bad future, like he has memories of a bad future, and either he's trying to stop it, or he's confused of whether or not like something's going wrong and he's got to correct it.
That's time travel, though.
Yeah.
That's very time travel. Like that works. That actually makes a lot of sense to me.
Wildstar is like trying to like if you looked at the Savage World story where they met up in issue 77,
Mm-hmm.
he meets up with Dragon, and there's like a whole sequence on that where he's telling him like he tried to save the world from the cosmic cops, or like and then there was the Martians. There's so many different aliens that are attacking. So like the aliens in this story are just one group of aliens,
Right.
But
there's
when you add
2,
in all the
remember?
Dragon, right? 2, and then all the aliens from Dragon. How many different groups of aliens have invaded the world from Dragon related comics?
Right.
So he's always there.
As a guy trying to stop the apocalypse. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm into it. I'm cool. I'm down with it. I like Wildstar. I think he's a kick-ass character.
Definitely wish there was more of him, because it's pretty clear that Ordway and Gordon aren't coming back to him anytime soon. I mean, that sucks. He's like he only exists in Dragon now.
I mean,
Pretty
that's
much,
a lot of characters, though.
And to be honest, after that whole thing with Malcolm, I don't expect we'll see him again.
Probably not.
Because he doesn't really have a role anymore.
No?
Be nice to see him again. Nice to get like a backup or something, like something to like conclude his story. I don't know.
I don't think Larson's going to be in the position though to conclude another person's character.
Well, I mean, get Ordway and Gordon to finish it.
Oh, I would love that. Like if Ordway and Gordon like concluded Wildstar in the backup material of Dragon. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, that would be pretty rad. Like,
let's tell him that. Let's plant that seed.
no, remember what happened last time?
Oh, I'm not trying to get him to work. I'm just saying, man.
No, I know. Remember, like it was like, what was that? We're like, oh, someone said they like Dragon or something, or like on the boards, or like, oh,
I was on Twitter. I was saying, oh, you should do a backup, and he's like, don't do that. I was
Don't
like,
ever. No.
I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I just get excited.
Wait, okay, yeah.
I forget who it was, but there was somebody, and I was like, oh, dude, I would love it if you did a backup.
It was like a really good artist or writer or something.
Grant Morrison was the writer, but someone else did it with an artist. Like there was an artist, and somebody was like, "Oh," but it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
Oh well. I mean, hey, it's just a want.
Exactly.
I won't harass Ordway or Gordon, but would I love to see it? You're right, Jim. I would love to see Wildstar's tale, because if you're not going to do anything with the character, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Right. Is there a reason? Do we know why? Like are they still like friends? Do they have a falling out? Because the funny thing is, the second Wildstar series is just Al Gordon.
Is it? Okay.
With Chris Marinan on pencils. So Al Gordon's a writer, inker.
Could be interest. I mean, we'll have to dig. I tell you what, dear listeners, we'll try to dig. Next time we come back, we'll try to have a little scooperoo for you, but could just be interest. I mean, what's sad is you got to say is that, like, it's hard. It's hard to get any kind of superhero style character to fly in the direct market, and like, so you have to just assume it was just demand. Because if Wildstar 1 through 4 had been like a barn burner, he probably, given the way early Image was, miniseries were like test jumps for full series. Wildstar probably would have gone on to become a full series had it done the numbers.
Right.
And it's hilarious because it was probably doing gangbuster numbers by today's standards, but it just probably wasn't doing gangbuster numbers by early Image standards. So there you go.
Yep.
All right, thank you, dear listeners, for listening to the Savage FINcast Retro.
Peace out.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you,
Thanks
Jim.
for listening.